What does it mean that ethnic Jews today still maintain their election? The Jews maintaining their election does not mean automatic salvation for ethnic Jews. Individual salvation is not and never has been solely about bloodline alone. Continuing from last week back to Romans chapter 11, the author here is the Apostle Paul. This is after Jesus has already been crucified and resurrected, ascended to heaven. The audience that he's speaking to are the Gentiles, which means non-Jews. And there seems to be this question of where the Israelites stand with God at this point. Are they still chosen or not? Last week, we talked about how Israel has a spiritual blindness cast over it. We see this in verse 7 and 8. What then? Israel failed to obtain what it was seeking. What were they seeking? Righteousness, salvation. The elect obtained it, meaning the Jews who ultimately did put their faith in Jesus. But the rest were hardened, as it is written, God gave them a spirit of stupor, eyes that would not see, and ears that would not hear, down to this very day. So essentially, Israel has a spiritual blindness cast over them. Now, how long does this spiritual blindness last? Verse 25, we see, a partial hardening has come upon Israel until the fullness of the Gentiles has come in. So once again, Gentiles means non-Jews. So that's you and I. And there are people, non-Jews, being saved, coming to Christ every day, still to this day. So this means that this partial hardening is still over the ethnic Jews today. But it also means that at some point, this spiritual blindness is going to be removed. And at that point, you will see a lot of ethnic Jews come to salvation through Christ. And we see this in verse 23 when Paul says, and even they meaning the Jews, if they do not continue in their unbelief, will be grafted in, for God has the power to graft them in again. So how are they going to be regrafted back in? If they do not continue in their unbelief. So after the fullness of the Gentiles comes in and this partial blindness gets removed from the ethnic Jews, if they do not continue in their unbelief and put their trust in Jesus, they will be grafted back in once again. So this election for the Jews today simply means that God is not done with the Jewish people yet, and he has not rejected them. They still have an opportunity to be regrafted back in, ultimately through putting their trust in Christ. In the end, ain't nobody getting in without Jesus.